Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, I'm going to be standing behind the figure because this is going to be the most awkward thing to review I think I've ever looked at, except for maybe that giant statue I reviewed one time. So, I worked great. I try to make it blend in as much as possible, and hopefully that'll work. But this is the HASLAB Sentinel, and it's going to be an unconventional review because I don't think this is a thing that really needs to be reviewed. It's not like you can go buy one at retail. You have to go to eBay and pay out the butt. And if you're willing to do that, I don't think you care that much about the details. But we're going to go over it anyway, because maybe some of you are going to be like, yes, those are the details that make me want to pay $700, $600 for this thing. And others are going to be like, I don't want it no matter what, but I'm curious. So we're going to go into it anyway. We're going to talk about as much as I can, and you guys will hear my thoughts about it. Before we get into the review though, we have to do a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, which is Into the AM. It's the t-shirt people. They do great graphic tees, they do t-shirts, they do all kinds of other stuff. I love this company. It's the only shirts I wear anymore, and they want to keep sponsoring the channel because they like the channel, so it's a match made in heaven. So these guys, like I said, their primary thing is graphic tees, and they are awesome. They have all different kinds. They're all super colorful, super fun. I only wear these shirts anymore. They're great. I love them. One of the great things about this company is you have a different variety of ways to buy. You can either just go through and pick out whatever you want to get. They're all awesome. You can do that. Or you can do bundle deals. You get a bundle discount if you buy 3 graphic tees, or a bundle discount if you buy just plain tees. Or you can use the link in the description below, save some money there. Or you could sign up for the t-shirt subscription club thing, which is basically you get a shirt every month for a discounted price, but you don't get to pick which shirt it is, but it's always going to be a graphic tee. So if you like their designs, that might be a good way to save some money. The print quality is amazing. It is the best print quality I've seen on any graphic tee that I've ever owned. Not just saying that because it's a sponsorship, it is that good. See if I can hold it up even closer for you guys. This has been washed like 20 times. I don't know, I've worn it a bunch. It looks amazing. The colors are still super vibrant, all the little flecks and everything. Like, it's amazing. They're really, really well done. They fit great. They're true to size and they're nice trim fit. Long torso, skinny sleeves. Best shirts I've ever owned. I love these things. Check them out again. Link in the description below. Into the AM. Best graphic tees you'll get. If you do decide to get any, guys, let me know in the comment section below which ones you're getting. Yeah, okay, so let's just dive into it. We're going to do the aesthetic first. I'll give you the turnaround since we're not on the rotating display base. It's from the waist up. I'll get the camera down lower to look at the rest of it. The thing's just too damn big. I don't have a wide angle lens, and even then I would need a huge backdrop for it. So this is going to have to do. So let's just do a quick question of the day first, as we normally do. How do you guys feel about the Sentinel? Not based on reviews and seeing it in hand, but just in general. Do you like the idea of a still not to scale but really large Sentinel figure that costs a whole bunch? I don't know. It's kind of cool, and I'm pretty sure people are either going to love it or hate it based on the fact that it's a big, expensive thing, and not based on the details, but whatever. We're going to go into it, and the details are where I live, so I'm a little torn about this thing because it is a cool release. It is fun to have, but I don't know. Okay, so as far as aesthetics go, I'm very happy to report that there is no marbling plastic. It's all painted very nicely. All the purples, the various purples, he's all very nicely uniform. It's a nice satin finish, matte finish sort of, somewhere in between there. It looks good. There's no issue there. There is no shading throughout. I want to point that out. There's nothing anywhere. In fact, there are almost no details painted on at all. You'll see in the torso there are a few little bits in here. There's some wires in the torso, some in the face, but all in all, most of it isn't painted. There are plenty of little sculpted details in there, lots of cabling and wiring and tubers and things like that. Same thing in the thighs. You get a couple painted, but mostly they're sculpted and not painted. So what was this thing? I think it was like 330 bucks. I don't really remember. I'll say it was 300 just to be super safe. I think at $300, regardless of the size, if you're not going to paint all the details in, that's a no-go for me. It's ultimately a giant Marvel Legends figure, and I expected for $300 they would put a little bit of extra effort into it. I'm not sure we got that in the paint department. The face is painted nicely, like it's clean. What is painted is clean. There's just not much going on there. Throughout the entire figure, it's just purple plastic. Light purple, dark purple, and gray plastic. That's about it. I was expecting a lot more paint. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have been expecting it, but I would have expected for that price, we would get at least paint. More paint. So that does bother me. You guys can let me know about all these different things because this is a very unique release. Let me know how you feel about it. But for me, you need more detail. At this size, he's huge. you need more detail. If he was only a 6-inch figure like one of these turds, then you could get away with painting a lot less. But you need to have more detail as far as I'm concerned. I will say the sculpt work is fantastic. I'm very pleased with it, especially the detailed sculpt work. Granted, it's a humongous, 26-inch, 28-inch, whatever it is figure. I guess we'll do a height measurement. Alright, so let's see, how tall is he actually? He is 26 inches, almost exactly. And that's about 66 centimeters, just above that. So yeah, 26 inches. The sculpt work should be good, and it is. So I'm very pleased with the sculpt work. I think the proportions look nice. I think they could have looked better with like a little bit longer legs, but it's not bad. It's fine. I like it. I like the look of it. It looks good in a general sense. I don't know if I should say how it looks on a shelf, because I don't think anybody's going to have a shelf that this guy goes on. So whatever, it does look nice. So from an aesthetic standpoint, given the size and the price, I'm going to say it's a 7 out of 10. There's nothing terribly wrong with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that at this size, you need a lot more detail, and it just doesn't have it. It doesn't feel like a premium collectible, and at only 26 inches, it's not that much bigger than NECA's 18-inch figures. So, and those are 130 bucks or 100 bucks. So, I don't know, I feel like it's not really hitting that price point as far as the aesthetics go. Now, as far as accessories go, we have the neutral head, the normal head that comes with him, obviously, in the package, on him in the package. Then we do get the 3 alternate heads. They all look really nice. The BD head, the big Master Mold head, and I guess that'd be like a Tri-Sentinel head. Very nice. The paintwork on the one face is really good. I like that a whole bunch. We do have the destroyed hand. That's pretty cool. I like that. We get his 2 tubers. The tubers are very nice. They're very bendy. Here's a straight one right there. I haven't messed with that one at all. And this one I bent up as much as I could to have it look like it was grabbing a figure, and it works pretty well. I think those are nicely done. No problem there. Pretty cool. Could have used some extra shading or something, like a little bit of airbrush on each of the corrugated sections. That would be cool, but we don't have that. We do get the male and female Sentinel Prime Marvel Legends with an alternate head. I will be reviewing those in a separate video. They are included, obviously, though. So that's fine for accessories. I mean, they were stretch goals. I get it. That's fine. I think that's all right. I think a battle damage chest plate would have been awesome. That would have been a really nice addition. Having the battle damage head and hand only, it's nice, but I think the stretch goal, it went so far over the stretch goals that another stretch goal with a battle damage plate would have been nice, chest plate. So, still, I don't know if rating accessories really counts for this thing, but it comes with 2 little figures. I'm not going to rate it. I don't know how to rate the accessories on this thing that's all stretch goals, so it's not like, if we didn't get those, it would have been terrible, because it would have been a $330 or whatever it is figure without any of those things. So I don't know how to rate that, but you do get all those things. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation, and in doing that I want to talk about the light in the head. Now, he does have light up eyes. You press his chest and the eyes light up. Now, I know you're not going to be able to see them that well right now, but they have this weird feature where they go from one color to another, and you never get to pick the color. It just cycles through them, and it doesn't give you the color that it shows when you click on it. It goes like from green to orange or white to red or whatever. And that's a really, really weird feature. I don't really care about that too much because it's not like you're going to have it lit up all the time. So that's kind of a gimmick. But the thing is, if you do want it to light up properly, if you rotate the head, it doesn't really work. The eyes are, all of the light piping is in the eyes. So for those of you that maybe haven't spent too much time with it, if you just rotate the head on the neck, the lights shoot forward, you're not going to be able to see it. It'll shoot out of one eye maybe. You have to rotate the neck, and it's very, very stiff. The neck is very hard to turn, but it does turn. If you haven't noticed that yet, make sure you pop the head off or reach in there and grab it and rotate the neck, and then when you go to light up the eyes, they'll actually light up properly. I think that's okay, like that's a nuisance, but it's not a problem, and it does make the eyes light up very nicely, so there's no problem there. And the head does articulate well enough, I guess, for a Sentinel. It doesn't really look too much, but I don't think you really need to for a Sentinel, so I'm not worried about that. It's okay. For the shoulders, we have the floating shoulder pads. They have a little soft piece of PVC in here that connects them into the socket, so the shoulder pad can move around independent of the arm, and that's good. That allows you to rotate the arm forward, and it leaves the shoulder pad with the arm, essentially. So that's a good thing. I think that works out just the way it needs to. That's generally how you want to do shoulder pads. You don't want them connected up here. You want them to be able to move with the arm. So that's good. You do get your full rotation. It's just your standard ball hinge Marvel Legends articulation. You can bring the arm out about that far. Not quite horizontal, but It's close enough, I'd say. Now for the elbow, it's a standard double jointed elbow. Let's do it this way. His legs keep splitting. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you can just rotate it this way so we can see. You can bend the arm twice at the elbow, but you're going to get about 90 degrees. No matter how you finagle it, it's going to be about 90 degrees. No matter which joint you lean on more. It could have been more. Especially because they have this gauntlet on here. This is all PVC. It's an add-on piece. But as far as I can tell, you cannot rotate this gauntlet. Which means you can also not rotate this. Which means rotating the hands sucks. You have this metacarpal plate, not metatarsal. Metacarpal plate sort of thing, like an Iron Man plate, that you would want to rotate with the hands. Same thing with the forearm. You cannot rotate this dark purple. So if you want to bring the hand like this, the plate sticks down here. And I don't get that. Why? This should have a rotation. He's going to be reaching down to use his little tubers, right? So he's going to be reaching forward and down to use his tubers. And I guess he's only going to do it like this rather than like this. And I guess that's fine, but it limits the figure for no reason. They could have easily made this a rotating piece. I mean, it's a separate piece anyway, so letting this gauntlet rotate is an ideal situation. This little thing doesn't really have much range anyway. I'm not sure why they didn't just make it flexible, slightly flexible, and it would have been fine, because the hands can't go that far. The way the hand is done, let me lower the camera a little bit. So the way the hands are done, they have the standard swivel hinge. They don't have that much range anyway, so this piece isn't that fundamental. They could have easily just made it flexible and let this whole thing rotate. It would have been fine. But you do get your swivel and your hinge in the wrists. And it's enough, like you can definitely bring his hand forward. But you can't do it this way or it looks weird. And you get the gauntlet on the side. So I'm not a big fan of that, but that's the way it is. Now the hands are pretty impressive, not only because they're almost as big as mine, but the thumbs have really good range. They have a swivel right here which lets the thumb do this. Like bring the thumb down that way, and then you get all your knuckles are hinged. So that's pretty cool. Mine came backwards. But there you go, all your knuckles are hinged. And then the fingers all have the same type of hinging that you would expect. They rotate and they hinge. So you can do a wide open hand and you can do a fist hand. No problem, it works. The hands are very nicely done. Yeah, I don't have any issue with the hands, I like that a whole bunch. Okay, now for the torso, you get your ab crunch. It's like a G.I. Joe torso basically. You get your ab crunch. It goes back a little bit, it goes forward a little bit. Almost no forward though, they're taking a note from McFarlane on that. And it goes back just a little bit more, almost zero forward and back. Here, we'll do it this way. This is the most awkward thing ever to review. Alright, there you go, that's the range of motion. Stop. That's it, it's very, very little. Now I know he's too heavy, but having him being able to lean forward and pick something up off the ground, say a mutant, seems like it might have been a good option, but you don't really have that. So that's it for the hinge down here. Of course, there's no waist twist. There's too many different pieces going on. But you do get the diaphragm joint, which is running right along here. And that will allow you to rotate him, so that's pretty good. The waist twist is up there. It'll do. And then as far as leaning on that, it doesn't seem to have any forward or back lean. And side to side lean, it's hard to say how much of that is intentional. I'm guessing it is, but it's very minimal. So like, there's almost none. So I don't know. It's a big robot. If there's anything that should be easy to articulate, it's a big robot. And he's got virtually zero range in his torso. Like, almost none. The rotation's going to be about the best thing you can do with him. So, that's good. But, you know, by the way, you guys probably keep noticing, I keep, like, brushing him off and grabbing stuff. He's got these little fibers from the packaging all stuck to him. And some of it was actually stuck in the paint. And I've got some blemishes on mine because of that. But, yeah, so the torso is very, very, very limited. Now for the hips, I'm sure you guys have heard about the loose knees, but mine has, and I haven't opened the second one yet, but this one has very loose hips. Side to side, they're floppy as hell. And he's heavy as hell. So, as you saw, as I was just messing with him, his legs kept doing this. They kept splitting and making him want to take a shelf dive. And that's what would happen if I had him on display. That's not really okay for a giant thing like this that costs $300 and is most likely going to destroy whatever it lands on. But as far as the ball hinges go, the legs go forward that much, which is probably enough for a Sentinel. I don't think you need a ton of range here, but that's what you can do. You can bring him back pretty far. His cheeks flex, so that's cool. You do get a thigh swivel in here, which will give you all the range you need for that, but I don't think you're really going to need it. But yeah, the side to side is super, super loose. That's not cool, because as far as I can tell, it's just 2 pieces of plastic. It's the clamshell hip like every Marvel Legends. There's no way to tighten that as far as I can figure. Maybe if I took it all the way apart and tried to fix it somehow and then reassemble it and kind of sculpt over whatever had to be done, I could do that. But no normal person is going to just be able to fix that. And I probably couldn't either. The knees, yes, you can tighten the knees a little bit. So we do have a double jointed knee, and you just pop the caps off and you can tighten a couple of screws in there. But they still don't get that tight. They're better than the loose hips, and they function well. It's a double jointed knee that it works just fine. But having to tighten it out of the box is not okay. And the fact that you can't tighten it that much still not okay. Then for the ankles, it's your ball hinge. It's your standard ball hinge. It's basically like the Taskmaster ankles. So you get your hinge that goes pretty far back. That's fine. As far as going forward, let's get this out of the way. As far as going forward, you get virtually no range. Basically none. Doesn't go anywhere. Now when you bring this back, you can move this piece, but it serves no purpose because it doesn't like hide the gap when the foot's down. Like you can put it in the middle, I guess. But okay, that's fine. Doesn't really do anything. But you cannot bring the foot forward. He has no range going forward at all. And the ball hinge doesn't really serve a purpose because you can't wiggle the foot around enough to use it. So he's got no ankle rocker and almost no range going forward. So that's a pretty big bummer. And so that's it for the articulation on this guy. It's basically a Marvel Legends with articulated fingers. So is that okay? In one sense, yes, because it's a Sentinel. It doesn't need to do a whole lot. And in the other sense, yes, because people aren't going to care. They're going to buy it as like a statement piece, as in I have this type of item. I don't think many people are bought this worried about the quality. I'm sure a lot of people didn't buy it based on the quality, but Hasbro's not concerned with the people that aren't going to buy the thing. They're only concerned that people are going to buy them, and it's good enough to get those sales. And that's what this is. I don't think it's particularly impressive other than the size. The paint job, I mean, like they did a good job with the finish. It's not marbled plastic, that's good, but the detailed paintwork is basically non-existent. The articulation is super basic. The fingers are the nicest part. The accessories are whatever, like his accessories are cool, but being a Kickstarter type thing, it doesn't really count. So yeah, it's fine. It is good enough. It's going to look like a Sentinel. It's going to stand on the shelf and hopefully it won't fall. And I think that's it. I'm guessing that's how most people viewed this purchase in the first place, in that it's going to be a big Sentinel, it's going to look like a big Sentinel, and that's all they cared about. And Hasbro nailed that. They really did. But as far as like the actual quality of the figure, it's still Hasbro. Like it doesn't scream high-end piece to me, and for this price, even at the size, it should be higher end than it is in my opinion. I'm going to rate it a 7 out of 10. It's fine. I don't feel totally cheated, but I feel like it definitely should be better. I'm not disappointed. I'm just indifferent. It's not bad. It's not impressive other than in its size. And for me, that's not enough because I'm not a little kid. This is an adult collectible and the size it's important for something like this, but since it's not to scale anyway, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, it's still not even close to Sentinel scale. Unless Sentinels that look like this were this size at some point. Maybe you guys can correct me on that, but I thought the Sentinels were a lot bigger than this. But maybe I'm wrong, and that's okay. But it seems to me like it should be like maybe another 6 inches taller. I don't know. Okay, that's it. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm holding on to this thing like it's a small person, like patting him on the shoulders and stuff. Okay, let me know what you guys thought about the review. Let me know what you think about the Sentinel and all the things I talked about. And we'll talk in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day. And thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.